Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and it's been 8 years since the original Nintendo Switch was released. There have been iterations in between then, including an OLED model, but now it's time to check out the brand new Nintendo Switch 2. If you picked one up, let me know how the process was, if it was easy to order one, if they were out of stock. I noticed Walmart's bringing them back in stock. I'll link to that down below if you're interested. Oh, also, I don't need two of these, so stay tuned for later in the video to see why. Also, a lot more videos coming soon, including accessory videos, etc. So be sure to click that subscribe button so you're notified when those go live. I did get the Mario Kart bundle, so we'll play some Mario Kart later on in this video, but I want to take a look what comes in the box, go through the setup process, play handheld, connected to my TV as well, and check that out and give impressions. So let's get started on my Nintendo Switch 2 unboxing. Let's dive into it right away. You'll notice the sticker that just indicates you can download Mario Kart, so the physical cartridge is an access point to downloading the game. Opening it up, it says plug it in, set it up, and there we go. Right away is the console, obviously detached from those brand new magnetic Joy-Cons. Yes, they are brand new. A lot of differences between these. Setting those to the side, let's continue through and see what we get in terms of booklets. Here is our full game download right there. It looks like you just scratch for the code. Pretty standard health and safety guide. Two different colored Joy-Con straps with magnets on them. We'll open all of this up, don't worry. And it included HDMI cable. Thankfully, a detached USB-C to USB-C cable with some Nintendo branding on it and that charging brick. The prongs don't collapse. It says Nintendo on it. USB Type-C, and here is all of the data on it. Inside here is your Joy-Con grip, Nintendo Switch 2. So not only is it attaching to the console itself, but even the grip is going to be easier due to that magnetic compatibility. Last but not least, in the box is your docking station, Nintendo Switch 2, just a side profile look, and the back. This is all updated. Two USB Type-A ports on the side there. You can pop this back piece off. Seems like there's a lot of ventilation down at the bottom, and you have grips in all four corners as well. Input-wise, USB Type-C, HDMI, and an Ethernet port, so you don't have to use Wi-Fi if you have an Ethernet slot available. I believe this gap's a little wider to eliminate scratching of the screen. Don't worry, we'll put it in just a second. On to what you came to see, that Nintendo Switch 2. It does have a brand new kickstand on the back. It goes very far, as you can see, almost not quite flat, but just about all you need in terms of an angle. Just so I personally don't forget, let's do a quick close-up of the distance between the front and the back. So there is a little bit of give, so you're not scraping it along when you do dock it, and it sort of sits back. So I don't think you really will have to worry about the screen, obviously with the dock being flat on a table or a desk. All right, let's check out those Joy-Cons. The joysticks themselves got a little bit bigger overall, which is a really welcome addition for me, just having, a little bit bigger thumbs. There is that C button, which is brand new for their new game chat. We can try that out. And then up at the top, these SL and SR buttons got a little bit bigger, and they're metallic now so that they connect magnetically as well. So overall, I found that these are very comfortable. I did play some games and got some early access from Nintendo, so these Joy-Cons are a welcome upgrade, especially right here. Watch this. I'm gonna go as light as possible. Look at that. It finds the magnet and locks itself on. Just like that. That was so easy. I'm even looking through my camera screen and I can do it. And no, they will not detach from the console at all. I'm actually giving it a little bit of force. It's not going to detach unless you press this little trigger in and then it releases. It's just a release button. You'll notice it sort of pops it out and gets rid of that magnetic connection. And the console's off, so the console doesn't need to be on to have this magnetic connection. You really do need to actually press that trigger for it to detach. All right, let's turn the console on for the first time. And while it boots up, let's just take a closer look at the overall hardware and the ports. Down at the bottom, you'll notice a little bit of a grip, so when you do have it tabletop on an angle with that kickstand, it's not going to scratch up the bottom of your Switch. You do have some ventilation right there. There's our USB Type-C port for charging, docking, etc. More ventilation. But look at the top left. We've got our power button, volume rockers, a lot of ventilation. So heat dissipation should hopefully be solid on the Switch too. Another USB Type-C port for those extra accessories, maybe that webcam that Nintendo's selling now. And then right here is our game card slot, exact same size as the previous ones. The Switch 2 cartridges are red, so you'll know that there is a difference, and they're just faster read-write speeds overall. You do have a headphone jack right there, nice to have that, and I believe this is a microphone right here. Just a quick close-up of the back so you see it, and a quick look at that hinge mechanism, popping it open and closing it. It seems very strong and sturdy. Underneath the kickstand is where that micro SD card slot is. And finally, just a close look at those Joy-Cons. You'll notice the color difference. Very similar to previous Joy-Cons with some just nice subtle changes. It's really easy to get used to because the button placement, everything's where you expect it to be from the previous Switch. Speaking of the previous Switch, notice how much bigger the Switch 2 is. It definitely is a little bit harder to put in your pocket, etc. It's not quite as portable. It is the exact same thickness, I believe, so that's really nice. They didn't necessarily add any thickness, just kind of length to it, and obviously it has a larger screen, so there are benefits to it being bigger. Anyways, I'm gonna run through the startup process and just talk about anything that's noteworthy. Two things I wanna point out. One, you can charge from that top USB Type-C port, so if it is sitting on the table like so, I just wanted to make that note. And also, I really like the subtle animations that pop up when you detach. I'm trying to do this with the camera, and attach. So you'll see, and they're color-coded as well. Just really nice. Looks like there is an update out of the box. Mine says 10 minutes. I have really fast internet, so if you buy one for a kid and you're giving it to them as a gift, you might want to unbox it and download this, depending on your internet speeds. In the meantime, let's check these out and get them attached. I was actually wrong. I thought these were going to connect via magnets, but they don't. They just sort of clip on, but you can still use that release button on the back to actually get them to pop out and press them back on. So this allows you to have some grip, have it around your wrist when you're playing games. Maybe you want to be throwing things or using it in mouse mode potentially. And the same thing with the other side, just push it on. I really do like how they have clear so you can still see what player you are when it is connected. Those lights still work. If you already have a Nintendo Switch, you can transfer that data. Just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna start fresh. Let's clip these back on, and we can add a user. Easy enough, there I am. Really nice, you can add more users as well if you're sharing the console. There are parental controls that you can customize, maybe limiting game time, etc. Big note, only micro SD express cards will work with the Switch 2. Again, that's under the kickstand. And we are all set, ready to go, pressing the home button. Nintendo Switch 2. And there we go. Let's get some games going. Actually, let's jump into settings first. I want to point some things out. You can turn on auto brightness or manually set it if you'd like to. Bluetooth audio is built in as expected. Out of the box, 232 gigabytes of free space, so maybe you don't need that micro SD card right away. Controller and accessories is where you can change the grip order and map the buttons on your Switch 2 Pro controller if you picked one up. Also, mouse controls are now available on your Joy-Con 2. Actually, I think, does it detect it right away? It does. So I'm using those mouse controls. You'll notice it detects it right away. You can change the sensitivity between low, medium, and high. It feels like low is definitely too low. I think I'm gonna stick to medium for now. In audio settings, you can change your output, system virtual surround, headphone virtual surround, and just a few different options I wanted to show you. In display settings is where that HDR output can be turned on and off. It definitely looks better with it on. TV resolution you can set manually if you'd like to, going down. This is all when it's docked and plugged in, which we will do. 120 hertz output. If you have a supported TV, it's supported at 1080p and 1440p TV resolution. So no 120 hertz 4K resolution. Auto low latency mode is really nice. HDR output for all software. Themes, I thought there would be more, but it's basic dark or basic light. So take your pick there. Maybe they'll add more in the future. I'm not sure. You can customize your sleep mode and when it wakes, and There's your system. Let's press that C button and jump into game chat. It lets you know you can use it without an online membership until March 31st, 2026. You have to register a phone number if you'd like to use game chat. You can go through your friends list and approve specific people if you don't want to talk to them or not. You have a list of your chat settings and you can create a chat. It doesn't seem like they have set up game chat yet, so I'll have a friend do that and we'll test that out. You'll see I have a game downloading right here. If you go into virtual game cards, it will show a list of games that you can actually download without having to use the cards that you do own. So if you just select it, you can just load it on your system. In the shop, I just redeemed the code and we now have Mario Kart World downloading. But for the time being, while those games are installed, this unopened Nintendo Switch 2 has been sitting there because I will be giving one away. I'll link to how you can do it down in the description. It'll actually be over on Instagram, the giveaway. So just click that link down below if you're interested. And of course, like I said, a lot more Switch 2 videos coming soon. So click that subscribe button. Something really random that I noticed is that you can put the Joy-Cons on backwards and they lock in just fine and they work. You can use them, you can play games. You'll see I'm actually switching menus here. So really random. I have no idea why you would want to put them on backwards, but it is interesting that it actually will work and you can still use the buttons and Joy-Cons backwards. While we wait for them to download, let's actually check out this controller here. Just putting them in, it will magnetically attach. And as you can see, it sort of extends out and you can hold it just like a regular controller, which is just a nice little addition and a fun way to play games. Same mechanism, just press these two switches and they will both pop out very easily. All right, Mario Kart World is installed. It took over 3 hours. So again, if you're giving this as a gift, you might want to think about opening it up and starting to download these games. I assume their servers are getting hit pretty hard right now, but let's dive into it. Let's do a Grand Prix and just play a little bit and then we'll plug it into our TV and give some impressions. I will say, this screen looks really nice. No, it's not an OLED display, but even though it's an LCD display, it looks really crisp. A huge step up from the 8-year-old original Nintendo Switch. Let's go with Yoshi for our race, and you can pick your car. If you go into details, it gives you all the info about speed, acceleration. Let's find one that's right here. Let's try this guy. A ton of different races. Obviously, there's a lot more, including an open roam style game. So let's just dive into one real quick and I'll give some feedback. I will say the haptic feedback feels incredible. It's extremely premium. Also, while the game is running, pressing that C button brings you to game chat. And as you can see in the background, that game's still going. So yes, you still have the option to talk to your friends while you're playing the game. Woo! All right. Here we go. Pretty similar to previous Mario Kart in terms of the controls, which makes it really easy to learn overall. All right, I'm in last place. Let's see what I get. Well, almost last place anyways. All right, let's go. We got the golden mushroom here. Let's bump up a few places. Oh my gosh, and of course I get hit by a red shell when I make it all the way to 3rd place. But everything looks so smooth on that higher refresh rate screen. I'm really excited to see more games, especially Donkey Kong. I feel like Donkey Kong is going to be a really good time. I'm really excited about it. Okay, come on. I actually don't know what this does. Oh, okay. Well, 1st place. Oh, we got 2 laps left to go. All right, going into our last lap, I will say I really do like the larger screen, actually. Gaming on a bigger screen is always better. Again, downside is it makes it a little bit less portable overall. There's definitely more weight to this model holding it, so just things to keep in mind and further impressions I have after just holding it and playing. By no means is it too heavy or anything like that. You can still game for long periods of time, and I think this is the end. Let's go! 1st place. All right, nice. Let's go get this. Actually, let's go home. Let's go into settings. Let's scroll down. Let's go back home. Maybe go to the store real quick. Come on. Okay, good. That was all good. And then back into Mario Kart World. Jumps right back in. So everything is also really smooth and snappy so far. All right, I've got my TV on and my Switch plugged into the TV and with the power cable. Let's just set it on in to begin. And there we go. And honestly, while it's plugged in, it's really easy to take these Joy-Cons out. Right away, the console recognizes the TV supports HDR and lets you know you can adjust it in settings. I'm obviously going to adjust this in settings where you can turn the brightness up and down. So it says to adjust when the left one is visible and the right one is not, and that's right about there. I'm glad I adjusted it. The picture looks great. So back in the Grand Prix, I have to say one really big difference about the Nintendo Switch 2 is the quality when connected to the TV. It is so noticeable. It's like actually incredible how much different it is compared to the first edition. So we're running through, having some fun, but it's really responsive. Let's see if this can actually show. I'll try and set this up. A little live demo here. So, but yeah, the controller, very, very low latency overall. It responds almost instantly, honestly. All right, let's throw these shells and then let's play a couple more games, honestly. All right, so there we go. Ooh. Oh, we're flying now. So it always takes me a couple races to get used to, but I actually want to try out mouse mode in a game too. And maybe some, I don't want to say higher end games, but graphically intensive games just to see how that looks on the TV. All right, just want to make note that Rocket League itself didn't have a separate download, whereas Fortnite had a Nintendo Switch 2 version. So I'm going to actually load that up in just a second, but wanted to show off Rocket League working. It's actually, looks good. It could look better, and I think, if they come out with a Switch 2 version, it will look better, but for now, it looks somewhat similar. So just kind of keep that in mind. Some of the older games are going to look similar on the Switch 2, and they need to be optimized if they're older games, and I thought we were going to score there. Anyways, let's load up Fortnite and even try out mouse mode, especially with a first-person shooter. Okay, we're in Fortnite right now, and I want to jump into settings because that's where you're going to find your mouse controls. Okay, going into that, it says none off. You can set it to right. It says which Joy-Con 2 should be used for mouse controls. So I believe the right one will work. Let's test it out. All right, this is kind of crazy, actually. I'm going to do my best to show this with the ultra-wide angle lens, but aiming, you'll see with the mouse, I can go as fast as I want. Right trigger is what's the shoot mechanism, so to speak. You can still build and such. And again, I'm just on my couch, just moving this around, and it's actually, I wouldn't say like perfectly accurate, but like not too bad. So B to jump, and using the left mechanism, I'm just gonna go down and I can aim and I can move left and right with this, and the buttons and the Joy-Cons all just work just fine. So I really have no idea how building's going to go or anything like that. You can still press the buttons, pick things up. There's an action button. Building probably will be really hard, honestly. I'm sure people will get good at it, but for now, I mean, like left and right works, and like left and right, left. I mean, it's just so hard to manage. And right now, the only good thing is aiming. I mean, if you're gonna, except if someone's behind you, it's really sensitive. There's someone building behind me, and I died right away. So that's as expected. But again, if I want to go back to controller mode, really easy. Just pop it right back in. Anyways, that's it from me for now on the brand new Nintendo Switch 2. Overall, a very premium gaming device. The display, while not OLED, still looks really good. HDR, high refresh rate is fantastic. I'm really excited for more games to come out, and of course, just to continue to unhook and put these Joy-Cons back on, because it's so satisfying to connect, disconnect, and reconnect. It's a really nice and updated modern improvement to their mechanism. But anyways, drop a comment. Again, I have an extra one of these in case you're interested in winning. A lot more videos coming soon, so click that subscribe button. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.